and welcome to the first Killer TV review of 2022, which is Book of Boba Fett. Now keep in mind, this review may contain spoilers. Without further ado, let's get into our cast. Tamara Morrison as Boba Fett, Ming-Na Wen as Fennec Shand, Frank Tigg as Gamorrean Guard, Colin Hems as Gamorrean Guard, Leilani Shiu as Jabba, Matt Berry as 88, and Jon Favreau as creator. So, the Book of Boba Fett is a series which I would say focuses on two different series at once at the same time. In the beginning, we have more of Boba Fett, and they introduce us to his backstory and what he's been up to since he got into the Sarlacc pit. Basically, we get presented this in the form of flashbacks while the main story plays out in front of us. So you'll have segments of the story where Boba Fett will do his thing, in the main timeline in the present, which in this timeline, which gets so confusing because there's so many films and TVs, is right after episode 6, Star Wars episode 6, right after that. That's where we're in the timeline, same time period as The Mandalorian. More on that in a bit. But the episode, we're gonna just call this Book of Boba Fett Season 1. Because I don't know if we're going to do a second season. I can honestly just see them doing it. But Disney, please, do it in a different format next time. So you're presented with Boba Fett's story for the first few episodes. And then, spoiler alert, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You get to see Mandalorian. Mandalorian shows up and it just completely turns into a different series. I don't know whether I'm watching Book of Boba Fett or Mandalorian Season 3. Because honestly, it felt like it was Book of Boba Fett up until around episode 4. And then after episode 4, it suddenly turned into Mandalorian Season 3 for me. Like, completely out of context, we just jumped straight into what Din Djarin is doing. I mean, that's fine and all, but I thought the series was called The Book of Boba Fett, not The Book of Boba Fett and Mando. I can see why they wanted to tie in the franchise favorite character, as Mandalorian's one of Disney Plus's most popular shows on their streaming service thus far, along with the likes of WandaVision and Loki. I've reviewed Loki in the past on this channel. WandaVision, that will be a future project, but I will get to it. But going back into the story, what makes Book of Boba Fett good is that Boba Fett in this series is more down to earth and isn't as brash and brutish as he is in the Star Wars episode 6. So basically, we go from Boba Fett being this brash, take no names kind of guy to more of a calmer, gentler natured sort of protector of Mos Eisley and the surrounding area. I think that what the series does well is that it brings out franchise favorite characters to play along for certain scenes. Now, I obviously wanted to see certain characters myself in the Bad Batch in this, but unfortunately they did not make an appearance. Unfortunately. Rather, there was two particular characters I wanted to see. I'll leave that up to you as to what two particular characters I wanted to see from the Bad Batch in this series. I know it's a minor spoiler, but I'm not naming names, but it's pretty obvious. And I must say that this show does pull out all the stops. You do see a lot of franchise favorite characters at certain points. I think that they use very good methods to bring these characters back in other ways and forms. Now, obviously, I'd be giving away too much if I suddenly gave you all the characters now. So we're going to take a different direction. We're going to kind of focus on the overall flow of the story and what I thought of it in general. The overall flow I thought was choppy after episode 3 of the series. I felt that they should have made a better transition into episode 4 and 5. Honestly, we can't just go from showing Boba Fett, spoiler alert again, to Mandalorian without there being some context there. I mean, sure, we have Fennec Shan going about, okay, spoiler alert again, I don't know how many times I keep saying this, but Fennec Shan basically goes and hires people to help Boba Fett out with what's going on in the store, pretty much. She goes and does that, and then bam, we're put right in the middle of Mandalorian. It's like, am I watching Book of Boba Fett or am I watching Mandalorian Season 3? Because seriously, I felt like I was watching Mandalorian Season 3. Now keep in mind that the actual Mandalorian Season 3 does not come out for some time. There is no hard release date on that yet. I believe the next series coming will be that Obi-Wan Kenobi series, simply titled Kenobi, I believe around the month of May, which makes a lot of sense when you think about it. I'm honestly looking forward to that series, but I honestly want to see a Darth Maul solo series on what he's doing after the Empire takes over, honestly. Because you basically, yes, you run into him some years later, but I want to know what Darth Maul was doing. And I don't necessarily want to just read comic books to find out. I want to see it on the screen. I want to see Darth Maul in charge of the Black Sun Syndicate. I want to see Darth Maul sitting there and taking names. Seriously, why is there not a Darth Maul solo series yet? I mean, you could seriously do it from different periods of time, such as when he's in the scrapyard. Yes, minor spoiler, but seriously, I think everybody's seen that episode already of Star Wars The Clone Wars, considering it's been so many years already. Honestly, I think that what the series needed was more Boba Fett and not more Mandalorian. I mean, it would have been nice to see more Boba Fett action, you know? Felt like we got a little bit of that more towards the ending there, but towards the beginning it just seems like I'm watching an extended prologue of a film or something. I mean, I'm trying to think, what was the point of the series? Was it to just bring back Mandalorian and outshine Boba? Or is it building to something bigger? There's been several times that I've seen videos out there suggest that there's going to be some big meetup event. Something along the lines of probably CW style, all the series meet and do cross series or something. But honestly, the only thing I'm really interested in and seeing at this point is Darth Maul, because Book of Boba Fett was, at some points, a bore fest for me, and at other points, good. I kind of found myself going back and forth between the two feelings throughout watching this. At different times, it feels like we're introducing iconic characters back, yes. At other times, it just feels like we're dragging on the plot here, and we're not really getting into action sequences when there ought to be some action. But yeah, it just feels like I'm watching extended prologue of this up until around episode 4. Don't get me wrong, the backstories are great. It's good to know about the backstories, but I think what my biggest issue was with the series is that it didn't keep its primary focus on Boba Fett. It decided to go Mandalorian Season 3 on us, essentially. Now, obviously, I'm not going to give away what happens, as that's too big a spoiler, and I'm not going to do that, but you need to watch it for yourself to see all the big cameos, and yes, there are many. There are many cameos. Is it worth it to watch it? Yes. Watch it in order, obviously. Are you going to be sitting there awed? Well, yes, a little bit on the finale side of things, but you need to take the series with a grain of salt, that it's not all going to be Book of Boba Fett. You're going to see Mandalorian in there at some point, and you're going to see other characters as well. Now, is there Something else I'd like to see in the future? Yes, obviously. A certain character that got killed off way too early, having them have their own solo series. But it seems that we are still focusing on others instead of the main character of the franchise. But at the end of the day, I think that you will enjoy the series. Is it a 10 out of 10 for me? No. It is more like 7 out of 10 for me, considering that the plot seemed a little all over the place at some points. It felt like we were watching Mandalorian Season 3 rather than Book of Boba Fett. If there's ever a Season 2 of this, they need to focus more on Boba Fett and not on Mandalorian. As much as I like The Mandalorian, he has his own series titled The Mandalorian. We don't need episodes solely focused on The Mandalorian, we need episodes focused on Boba Fett. And what Boba Fett is doing and seeing Boba Fett do some action. Not wait until the last episode to really show that action. Yes, there's some comic book characters that show up too. I'm sure you'll realize who those characters are. But at the end of the day, is it worth watching? Yes. Are you going to sit there and be disappointed or let down? Maybe. But maybe not. That is up for you to decide. So, may the Force be with you. May the Force on the way. Just another month from now. And it be well. And don't forget to like, watch, and subscribe to Killer Film Reviews, as we are making content at least once or twice a month. As I have other channels I also work on as well. See the home tab for more details on those channels. And take care and be well. Thank you for watching.